Hello, everyone. I'm Gary Laubach, along with Mike Joseph. We are Behind the Mic, a special edition, as we get to have the first sit-down with the new head coach at Lafayette College. That is John Garrett, the 28th head coach for Lafayette. And we certainly want to welcome him to the campus. But ironically, my first question is going to be for Mike Joseph. Mike was on the committee that found John, got him here, got him contracted. So my first question to you, Mike, is why John?
It's a great question, but it's an easy question, I think, Gary. Obviously, he's an expert. It's the first thing I thought about when I met John a long time ago, and now is that he brings a world of expertise in the game of football. Mm-hmm. And not only do we need that, and we need that energy and that enthusiasm. And speaking more to John as the process went on, we just found that everything was present. Everything we were looking for in a candidate was present, and then I always go back to the fact that we're looking for an expert, and there's none better.
Well, I try to keep my questions short, so my first question for you, John, is 25 years of coaching experience. Why Lafayette?
Why not? Look at what it offers. One of the finest colleges in America, a storied history of great football, facilities that are unparalleled at the FCS level, and certainly the best in the Patriot League, and a commitment from the administration, the athletic department, Friends of Lafayette Football, to provide all the resources to reinvigorate this program to consistently compete for championships. So I'm thrilled to be the leader of this program.
John, you are an Ivy League graduate, having gone to Columbia, having gone to Princeton. Obviously, two schools that are extremely important in terms of academics and extremely important in terms of success, particularly in football. So I'm sure that is certainly one level of experience that you brought to Lafayette that will certainly help you recruit kids, get them here, and get them academically sound.
Well, no question about it. And the recruiting part of it is the lifeblood of your program. And the fact that I matriculated at two Ivy League schools, I can go into a family's home and look the parents in the eye and say, I've been through what your son is going to do. We'll take care of him. We'll make sure that he gets great academic support so he can be the best student he can be. With my football experience, I can look them in the eye and say they are going to get one of the most wonderful football experiences from a guy who has coached at the highest level. So rest assured that every technique that he receives is going to be one that NFL players are receiving. And also just the fact that I can empathize with the student athlete of competing in two sports, playing football and baseball at the two Ivy League schools, Princeton and Columbia, that I know what they're going through. I know what it's like to be tired and have to go study. And I can encourage them from a standpoint where they know how hard it is, and I'll be right there with them.
John, let's get into the football. You talked about it in the early part of your acceptance, is the fact that we're so close. We were 6-3. We were 17-14. I could name you. We were 3 points down at Colgate, and Gary and I are sitting there, and we understand that this team has talent. And when you look at the roster, you can see a lot of skill kids, a lot of kids up front that just are missing that little bit. And you talked about that a little bit.
Well, that's what the encouraging thing is and I got the question. Do you know that the last 2 years they were 1-9 and 2-10? And so I put on the tape. And I put on that Delaware game, and I put on that Villanova game, and I'm like, 1-10, 2-9. These guys are right there playing with two really good story programs, Delaware and Villanova, and it made me even more convinced that this was a great place with a fantastic foundation to compete for championships for years and years. Just got to get them to believe they can win. There's critical stages in each game, all right, that they need to execute and not worry about, oh my gosh, what's going to happen for us to lose the game. Forget about that, all right? Concentrate and do your job. You'll be prepared, all right, and have the courage to lay it all on the line and believe you can do it. and that's the message. We gotta change their mindset that they can win and they can be champions.
Coach, you come from a background of having coached at the college level and coaching at the NFL. In particular, you spent a lot of years with the Dallas Cowboys. What things do you draw from each one of those experiences that you think will help this program get better?
Well, I've had the good fortune to be in a part of some great organizations and coaching for and with some great coaches. I believe that all the head coaches I either played for or coached with, I've watched and been able to take and identify all their great traits as leaders. For instance, I played for Sam Weich at the Cincinnati Bengals, and then worked later for him when he was the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And his ability to teach quarterbacks and install plays. And I still talk to our quarterbacks about the 5-step drop and the 7-step drop, just like I heard him talk to Boomer Esiason about it way back in the late 80s. His creativity, his ingenuity, his enthusiasm, his different tempos with the no huddle. I could go on and on. I was a player for the Buffalo Bills during their Super Bowl years on the practice roster and watched Marv Levy just handle a veteran team with so much talent and lead them and talk to them and discipline them in a way that he always showed great respect for the players. At the Cowboys with my brother Jason, he has fantastic natural leadership skills. I've been in the huddle with him in grade school, in high school, in college, and in pro football. That's how much we've played together. And then to watch those, and he was in the huddle, and I could tell you he would call a play, and he was the greatest salesman in the world, trying to make everybody believe that this play was going to work, and everybody bought into it. And so that leadership style is important and something that I've been able to take from him. And Coach McElwain at Florida, his leadership style of being able to really relate to the players and get the most out of the players, and which is particularly important this day and age with how differently they're growing up now, rather than some of the old school ways. And I could go on and on. Coach LeBeau at the Cincinnati Bengals. I was a player at the Bengals when he was an assistant coach. I was an assistant with him when he was the defensive coordinator, and then he hired me again as an assistant to work under him when he was the head coach. And the devotion and love that his players have for him, because he showed them how much he cared for them and could empathize, being a player himself, how hard it is to play and to practice and to prepare. And to the way he just inspired them and to be the best they could be. It's just, I could go on and on. Bruce Coslett, the Bengals, was my position coach at the Bengals, and his organizational skill and his near photographic memory of how to put an offense together. It just, I could go on, and there's so many more out there. And so I believe that I've been able to take all their great traits and hopefully emulate them the best I can be.
Now you say, from what you're talking about, it takes a village. It takes everybody. And I'm an alum, and I'm there for you. It takes everybody. What's your message maybe to the alums out there, the guys that have maybe been straggling, not coming back, not doing the things that they need to do, I think, to help and get this program back where it is? I think there's a message to them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The future's bright. Like I said, I don't see 1-9. I don't see 2-10. What I see, this close to beating some really good CAA teams and to compete for championships. We need everybody. All right. We need everybody to get on the train because it's moving. Don't be left at the station. Don't be left at the station. We need your help. We need your resources. What we need is your involvement. We need your enthusiasm. We need your presence. Come to practice. You can watch practice. Just stay off the field. You're going to get hurt. There's players running all over the place, okay? But we want you part of it. There's a great tradition here. There's fantastic alums, and we want everybody to just be reinvigorated in this program to lead the Leopards to a point where we can vie for that championship every year.
Well, Mike and I will go back to work for the football season, and ironically, game number 1 is against Monmouth.
Can you believe
a
that?
team that's kind of near and dear to your family in terms of where they live. And I don't think you had much to do with that scheduling, but kind of an interesting way to open up your career.
No, it really is. When I checked the schedule, and I saw it, I said, "Wow." You know, it's 15 minutes from my home in Monmouth Beach, and I remember going there for training camp practices when the New York Football Giants trained there. When my dad was an assistant coach with the New York Giants from '70 to '73. And it just brings back fond memories of how great the game of football is, how it just intertwines through families' lives, and the amount of workouts that I've witnessed there and practices. We went back years later to practice on that field when we were high school players and college players preparing for our seasons, when my dad was out there helping us coach. And it just brings back fond memories, and it would mean nothing more to me to get our first win as the leader of this program right there in Monmouth County against Monmouth University.
Well, that certainly is what we are looking for in September. We had an opportunity today to meet John's family, 3 beautiful daughters and a son, along with his wife. They'll have an adjustment to make also, no question about it. But I understand as soon as John goes home, he's not the head coach anymore. He probably is just an assistant at the house. We look forward to congratulate John Garrett for his appointment here at Lafayette College, and we certainly look forward to the 2017 season. So for Mike Joseph, for myself, I'm Gary Laubach, and new head coach John Garrett. We thank you so much for watching Behind the Mic.
Go Leopards!